This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. Come on in, come on in. Today we're talking about the mysterious disappearance of Jack and Lilly Sullivan. Jack and Lilly disappeared from their home in Nova Scotia, Canada. And we have still not been able to find them. They've disappeared on May 2nd of 2025, sparking an outpouring of concern, community support, and sadly, a lot of misinformation too, from fake fundraisers to baseless TikTok theories. So what we're going to talk about all of the updates that are credibly sourced. So my name is Jessica Della Davies. I'm an investigative journalist, and my job is to investigate crimes, crime scenes, and potential suspects, and share with you how to do the same thing. If you haven't subscribed to Reporter Room, please do like, share, leave a comment, and know that everything I'm sharing with you is my opinion. This video is for educational purposes only. So come on in, tell me where you are from, what country, what city, what county, what continent, what planet, whatever you feel like you want to share. But today we're going to be talking about the tragic disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Lilly is 6 years old. Jack is 4 years old, from Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, on May 2nd of 2025. This has sparked an outpouring of concern. It's also sparked a lot of misinformation, unfortunately. So here's what we know so far. Lilly is 6 years old. Jack is 4. They were last seen outside their rural home in Lansdowne Station the morning of May 2nd of 2025. Their step-grandmother, so this would be Daniel Martell's mother, and let me just show you who she is. Okay, this is her. So not to be confused with their paternal grandmother, who also has come forward. This is the step-grandma. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. And so she is speaking out. Her name is Janie McKenzie, and she said that she heard Jack and Lily's voices, that her bedroom was only a few steps away from where the house was, the mobile house that they lived in with their mother, Malehya Brooks-Murray, and their stepfather, Daniel Martell. So this is Daniel's mom speaking out. So she said that she heard Jack and Lilly were out playing on a swing set in the backyard. So she said that after that, she heard nothing. And this was the morning of May 2nd. She said that the kids disappeared from the property in Lansdowne Station. And the next thing she did hear was her son, Daniel Martell, yelling the names of Jack and Lilly. And a short time later, she emerged from the trailer to find Malehya standing in the driveway with the 1-year-old daughter that she had together with Daniel on her hip. Now, Malehya told Janie, the step-grandmother, that the children were missing, and Janie says that she believes that Malehya told her that the kids had been gone for around 20 minutes at that point. She said, I closed the door, got my boots on, and came out here, ran up into the woods. And she said this in an interview outside of her trailer. So this is at the time, CBC News had been given access to the property from where Lilly and Jack disappeared. Now, the grandmother, Janie McKenzie, the step-grandmother, said she was speaking to her brother on the phone for about 2 minutes at 8:48 a.m. local time, and then dozed off before being woken up by the sound of the dog barking. So she believes the kids went missing sometime after 8:48 a.m. Now, Janie McKenzie, step-grandmother, said that she decided to share her side of the story in the hopes of bringing more clarity as to what transpired that morning and to help dispel the flurry of rumors that have been circulating online. She said, quote, I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see the kids because this would have never happened, she said through tears. She described the scene on her property. And she said that she's lived there for 26 years. She said it was chaotic. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police were there. Official search and rescue people were there, and journalists all came to their property. Now, 2 years before, Daniel and Malehya came to live there with Jack and Lilly. And we know that the biological dad, about a year before Jack and Lilly disappeared, had lost his car, lost his home, lost his employment, and was no longer providing child support to Malehya Brooks-Murray at that point. So, I've been wondering if maybe this would have placed some extra financial strain on Malehya and Daniel, who also had a new baby at that time, but now the child is around 1.5 years old. But they had a new baby at the time that the bio dad of Lilly and Jack lost everything. And so, did this put extra strain on this little family? Now, Janie said that she gave the young couple the mobile home and she started living in a small RV. And she said, and let me just show you. So you can see the RV here. So she gave them the mobile home. That's where she was living. And then she lived in the RV. You can see this is the fenced yard. And she also shows that she a little bit closer of the yard. You can see it really was a nice backyard, in my opinion. There's the trailer behind the slide and the playhouse that the kids would have been able to play in. It does look like a really fun place for the kids to have played in. And this is Jack and Lilly. So let me change back to this one. So this is Janie in this picture. So she said that they were in part of that. She said that the yard was fenced, that it is possible that they could have gotten out of the fence. But she, in my opinion, I think it's unlikely. And I think they would have really liked that wooden swing set and the slide and all. It would have been a really fun backyard to play in. So she said that her family had been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement since the children disappeared, all the while that it has attracted international interest. So that's us, right? Janie said that there was one instance from the first day of the search when an officer attempted to enter her trailer and she stopped the officer, but only because she wanted to remove her dog first. So she wanted to clear that up because there was a lot of speculation about that. Since then, the property has been scoured. Both the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and the Search and Rescue have searched the property's mobile home and her trailer multiple times. The well and the septic tank have also been searched. A drone was flown underneath the mobile home, and Daniel Martell also took a polygraph test, which he says he passed. Yet accusations that she or her son are somehow involved in the disappearance, she said, continue to be hurled at her online. She said, quote, "My life has been turned upside down, inside and out. I had nothing to do with any of this. I just want them home safe and sound just as much as everybody else did. I want to know what happened." She said, "I want the rumors to stop. I just want everything to stop. For me, for the sake of the children, the other children." Remember, Daniel has 2 other children separate from the children, Malehya's 2 children, Lilly and Jack, and the child he had with Malehya, Meadow. So she said, they don't deserve this. They're innocent. Jack and Lilly are innocent of everything. They didn't deserve this. Now, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police have conducted extensive search efforts, including the drone surveillance, canine units, underwater sonar, ground searches over 40 square kilometers. And Grandma Jane said, "I don't think they're in the woods. We've searched this place. They've had helicopters out. They've had drones out. They've had searchers. They went over this place with a fine-tooth comb." So Malehya Brooks-Murray's extended family is also speaking out. And we're going to talk about that next. I do want to say thank you to our producers, Enjaz, Sasha Angel, George Brown, Christy Ballantyne, Michael Cole, and Lynn Jen too. And thank you to our channel members so much for your ongoing support. So a member of Malehya Brooks-Murray's extended family is also critical about how the Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigation has played out. Darren Geddes, a cousin of Malehya's grandmother, said that he has been speaking to many members of both families in the weeks following the disappearance and believed that he had information that could be pertinent to the investigation, but he says he was brushed off by the Mounties. And he said, "It's not hurt, it's the rage, and I'm trying to control it." Now, Darren says that in a recent interview that he did eventually track down an officer to take his statement. And on Wednesday, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, this was in mid-July, said that units from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Ontario were all working this case. So there have been a lot of people that wondered, is he just inserting himself into the case, or does he have actual information? I don't know. I want to do super thanks and coffee gratitude. Also, thank you so much. This is from the day that Brian Kohberger was sentenced. And thank you so much for super thanks. So he did eventually get to give us statements. We have had not a single confirmed sighting of Lilly and Jack or physical evidence of Lilly and Jack, despite thousands of tips, video submissions, and interview. Their pink blanket that was found that was initially thought to be a clue has been confirmed by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to not be connected to the case. So that's really sad. We were all hoping that that would be connected and would give them, a direction in which to go on. But it turns out the pink blanket is not connected to the case. Now, the step-grandmother said that in the beginning, her family was receiving regular updates about the investigation. And we heard something similar in the last live I did with Daniel Martell, but that it all stopped in recent weeks, leaving her and Daniel with many unanswered questions. And she feels that the case now lacks urgency, which is maybe why she is speaking out. She is also critical of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's initial response to the case, questioning how far two little ones could have reasonably traveled through thick woods in the span of roughly 20 minutes. Having lived on the property for decades, she is acutely aware of how dense the forest is, which is made worse by downed trees post-tropical storm Fiona back in 2022. She said, "We went for a walk in the woods, and I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way he was walking through all that tree falls and brushes." She said later, taking this CNBC News through a path that children often use, littered with crisscrossing trees. Now, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police have did an update mid-July. Spokesperson Corporal Carly McCann said that a pink blanket was forensically examined, and now we know that this does not belong to Lilly, despite the fact that family members thought that it belonged to Lilly. She said that they were investigating the possibility that Lilly and Jack are still alive. This is after they declared that they would not be and could not have been. She said, we've not closed any doors on the investigation at this point. So I think this is really good news for Lilly and Jack and the people that love them. She also said that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police family liaison is in regular contact with a designated relative of Lilly and Jack. So I don't know who that relative is. Obviously, it's not the grandmother. It's not the stepfather. It would, because he wasn't even married to Malehya. So it would be an actual relative, a blood relative of Lilly and Jack, providing ongoing updates and support. So in my opinion, this explains why Janie and Daniel are not getting regular updates. And she would not say who the designated relative is. So we've seen this increase. Let me grab a sip of water. And this is really upsetting. This happens in almost every case, which is why I don't allow any type of GoFundMes or anything in my Facebook chat room. But it's the rise of the fraudulent fundraisers, right? Where we've had several fake fundraising campaigns, GoFundMes on Facebook, claiming to raise money for drones and search equipment and psychic investigations. None of these fundraisers have been authorized by the family of Lilly and Jack or the search team. So just be aware of that. The Halifax Search and Rescue did issue a public warning to us on May 7th, urging Canadians to verify any fundraising before donating. And the Royal Canadian Mounted Police also reminded the public that fraud in a missing persons case is a criminal offense. However, we know these fraudsters probably aren't in Canada. They're probably in another country altogether. So The last update that we had from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police was in mid-July on the 16th. They said in that update that the case is continuing with assistance from its units in Ontario and New Brunswick and help from the National Centre of Missing Persons and Canadian Centre for Child Protection. Further, municipal and provincial policing agencies from Nova Scotia in parts of the country are also helping. Quote, for example, the forensics lab in Ottawa is supporting the investigation into the partnership with forensic identification units here in Nova Scotia, as well as there may be police detachments and units in other provinces who are conducting interviews with witnesses. So these updates come after weeks of no communication, and we're now in another period of weeks with no communication from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Again, they're not required by law to communicate with us or with the media. It would be nice. But I think that they are hoping that this case goes away. That's my opinion. That's why they, in my opinion, tried to immediately declare that the kids could no longer be living. And it's, you guys who have kept this case going. But I do want to talk about just some of the things that they have done. They have shared with the public that they did investigate over 600 tips. They have interviewed more than 60 people. They have given lie detector tests to multiple people. They said right now there is more than 800 tasks associated to the investigation. This is from Rob McCameron, the officer in charge, the acting major crime and behavioral science staff sergeant. And he said, quote, a tremendous amount of careful, deliberative, investigative work is underway by people here at home and in other parts of Canada. Our collective efforts will continue every day until we determine with certainty the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of Jack and Lilly. And I do understand that I could probably get a lot more clicks and views if I would put out misinformation or speculate on what I think happened. I just don't feel comfortable doing that in this case. I don't know what happened to these little ones. So I just want to be, really, really careful. I don't want to do anything that would impede in the investigation. So thank you to NJAS for gifting a Reporter Room channel membership. I would love to do a poll with you guys. And if you would be willing to share this on your socials, I think I am providing a responsibly, credibly sourced information on this case. I'm not sharing anything, and I'm not doing speculation because these are two missing preschoolers and they deserve better than that. But you can trust sources like Missing People Canada, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and major Canadian news outlets. But report any videos of like fraudulent fundraiser type of things, and anything that's like really suspicious to the relevant platforms or authorities. They're asking, how can you guys help? Well, don't interact with sensationalized content. It drives the algorithm to promote more of this. Support public awareness through supporting people who are trying to provide you with credible information. This is not me. This is what they're recommending. And then only share updates from trusted sources like Missing People Canada, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or any type of major news outlet. So she finished off by saying that deep down in her heart, she said, I do believe that Jack and Lilly are alive. And Malehya Brooks-Murray, we really haven't heard anything from her since the very first day. She has not spoken to the media since. Her mother has told CBC News that they were told by police not to speak to the media. And a lot of people have wondered why Grandma Jane, the step-grandmother, Jane McKenzie, is speaking out. And I think it, is to help keep the story going. But also, she, does want the children to be found. If we're being accused of doing away with them, you would want them to be found. Also, she said, if something bad happens, you get like your heart drops. Mine hasn't dropped yet. And she said, deep down in my heart, I do believe that Jack and Lilly are alive. So let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section below. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming by to spend a little bit of time with me. I do appreciate it. And all of our mods, if you would pop down here and say hello, I'd love to just thank you, our mods. I see Holly and Kathleen, and NJAS is our head mod. Trying to see who else is in here. Mike is here. If you're modding, drop me a comment right now so I can see you. Polar says Darren's story is ridiculous and has caused a lot of false narratives in the rumor mill. Yeah, that may be why law enforcement didn't want to meet with him. I don't know. Hey, Teresa. Francie said, I've checked different sites. It appears to me that Daniel's family blames Malehya. Malehya's family blames Daniel. I'm to the point I'm waiting for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I think that's good. That's why I've been doing periodic updates. I just want to let you guys know I am following the case. I do care about finding these little ones, but I'm not doing like daily updates because there aren't daily updates. We haven't had an update from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in 2 weeks. So thank you for modding today, Holly and Kathleen and Njaz, who is our head mod. Thank you so much. Have I missed anybody? I think I've thanked all our mods. Tammy says, thank you, Jessica, for being trustworthy advocate for these lost children. Thank you so much. Lisa said, I'm here. Welcome, Lisa. Kathleen said, I think Malehya and Daniel know where the kids are, what happened. They need to come clean. And just welcomes you, Lisa. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to leave it there. I don't know what Daniel and Malehya know. So I'm like, I don't want to, it's just too important. And I just haven't seen as red flags. It doesn't mean they're not there. It just means I don't feel comfortable speculating on these 2 little ones. If I did, I would, but I just don't. So I'm going to leave it there. So thank you so much for coming by to spend a little bit of time with me. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I can't get to 50,000 subscribers without your help. And please keep Jack and Lilly in your heart and in your prayers.